Hello everyone. Myself Karthikeyan, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Business System, KS Rangasamy College of Technology, Tiruchendur. Today I am going to discuss about black box and white box testing in software design with UML. So the first one, black box and white box perspective. The black box perspective focus only on what the system does and not how it works inside. So imagine a sealed box. You can see what goes in and what comes out, but you cannot see what is happening inside. This approach is very useful for users, testers, or anyone who only needs to know the system behavior. It helps us check if the system works correctly without worrying about the internal details. So the next one is white box perspective. So on the other hand, shows the internal structure of the system. Here everything is visible. Each component connections and process is clear. This view is very useful for developers and engineers, as it helps them to understand how the system works, which is used to find the bugs or improve the design. So in this, both perspectives are essential. The black box helps us understand input and outputs, while the white box helps us understand how the system achieves those outputs. By using both, we can design better system, communicate ideas clearly, and ensure everything works as expected. So black box equal to behavior and white box equal to structure. Understanding both gives a complete picture of any system. So the next one is black box testing. The key idea is that only the interface, input and output are visible to users. You don't see the internal logic, code or structure. So it is a hidden or sealed. In UML diagrams, components are often shown as a sealed units, meaning you only know what's go in and what comes out. So this perspective is perfect for stakeholders who care about the system's functionality rather than how it is implemented. For real world example is a smartphone applications. So you tap buttons, swipe screens, and get results, but you never see the underlying code, servers or database working behind the mobile phone or working behind the scenes. So you just know the what the app does. So this is known as black box testing. So remember, black box equal to focus on behavior, not the internal workings. So this is known as black box testing. The next one is white box. So white box transparent system. White box is the transparent system. So in this view, all components, relationships, and logic are fully visible and documented. So you can see exactly how everything inside the system works. So it helps us to get a functional understanding of the system, showing precisely how the system achieves its functionality through detailed pathways and connections. These perspectives require technical knowledge because you need to understand the system's internals and architectural decisions. The white box is especially important for developer and architects during the design, implementation, and debugging process. So it helps them find issues, optimize performance, and improve the systems. So remember, white box equal to focus on structure and internal workings, not just behavior. So this is known as white box. The next one is black box versus white box in software testing. So black box perspective focus on what the system does, not how it works inside. So only the interfaces, input and output are visible. So internal logic, code or structure is hidden or sealed. In UML, components are modeled as sealed units. So this is a perfect for stakeholders who care about functionality rather than implementation. Yeah, real world example is a smartphone applications. That the example that we already discussed about in previous sessions. So in black box testing, testers check software functionality without any knowledge of the source code. They interact with the systems like end users, validating requirements and specifications. The focus here is on what the system does. On the other hand, The white box perspective shows everything inside the system. All components, relationships, and logics are fully visible. This helps us understanding how the how system achieves its functionality. It requires technical knowledge of system internals and architectures, and it is important for developers and architects during design, implementation, and debugging. In white box testing, testers examine internal code structure, logic paths, and algorithms. So they need to access to the source code and understand how everything works. This focus here is how the system works internally. So by using in simple words, black box equal to behavior, what it does, white box equal to structure, how it works. Using both perspective gives a complete understanding of any software systems. So the next one is UML component diagram, black box view. So in this view, each component is shown as a single unified box with clearly defined and provided and required interfaces. The internal parts, connectors, and implementation details remains hidden. So you only see what the component offers to the outside world. For example, a payment service component might only expose a process payment, so interface to other systems. So without showing how the payments are handled internally. The core principle here is to empathize modularity, encapsulation, and the separation of concerns. So, in the system design, by focusing on interfaces rather than internals, so we can make the system easier to understand, maintain, and use. So, this is known as component diagram at the time in black box testing view. So, the next one is UML component diagram, white box perspective. So, in this view, the component is broken into its internal parts, showing all the connections and dependencies. You can see how the internal pieces work together to provide the component functionality. So it is also detailed boards provided under required interfaces and communication protocols. So making it clear how each part interacts with the others. For example, a payment service component could be decomposed into authorization, so fraud checks and logging subsystems with all their internal connections and interactions visible. So this view helps developers understand the internal structures, collaboration, and the detailed working of each component. So which is essential for design, debugging, and improvement. So this is known as white box testing in a UML perspective. So the next one is when to use each view in UML. UML in the sense Unified Modeling Language. The first one is the black box perspective. Is most useful. The black box perspective is most useful during early design and conceptual modeling. So it helps in communicating with the stakeholders, preparing presentation, documenting system integrations or APIs, and even during vendor selections or procurement, where the focus is on what the system does, not how it works internally. The next one is white box perspective. So on the other hand, it is used for detailed design and architecture documentations. So it is helpful for implementation, planning, code generation, unit testing, and debugging. So it's also important during system maintenance and refactoring, where understanding the internal structure and connections is essential. By choosing the right view at the right stage, we can communicate effectively and design system efficiently. So this is known as when to use each view in UML. The next one is real world example, black box versus white box. A black box scenario is likely purchasing a commercial software library. You will get complete API documentation, but you cannot see or change the source code. You integrate it and see and use it only through the published interfaces. A good example is using a proprietary payment gateway SDK, software development kit. You know what it does, but not how it works inside. So the next one is white box scenario. So which is likely working with the open source software. You can inspect, modify, and extend the entire code base, seeing every internal detail. For example, contributing to a GitHub open source projects lets you understand exactly how the system works internally. So these examples shows how the black box focuses on behavior while the white box focuses on structure and internal workings. So this is known as black box versus white box with the real world examples. So thank you for watching.